Hello, everyone. It's 10:55 p.m. Well, um, I got only one harassing comment later on tonight on YouTube, but I showed y'all the harassing comment on TikTok that I woke up to. So they had this lady named Deborah Nichols that was supposed to be a Christian, and she got hateful and blocked me on TikTok for no reason. So but she was one of like a newer follower that came to follow me, and then next thing you know, so when you and so then they also had this. Now lately they had two people who claimed to be military that but that I didn't realize there was another guy who did this back in late May or early June. I don't know if he must have unfollowed because of figured that I might not be interested in him, but that's not the case. I mean, with me being targeted and people are trying to date me or whatever, I don't even know if they might be a male honeypot being sent. I mean, the guy who tried to hit on me yesterday or the day before that I told y'all about, he was one guy, and then there was another guy. I think he unfollowed because of he must have felt like I wasn't interested. Well, I mean, I even forgot because me being so busy going through what I'm going through. That was one of the reasons why But it seems like as if somebody block you on social media, it seems like it hurts your account. Like, I don't know about now, but back then in 2010 on Twitter, if a lot of people block you, then you would end up, your account would get suspended. So, and then if people block you, it's made to look like you're a bad person. So, I mean, the lady came to, an older lady. She looked like she was in her early 60s or late 50s. And she was supposedly a Christian. And, I don't even know if she also perceived of me talking about the gang stalking. If she might have felt like, oh, I'm going to block her because I don't want to see this negativity. Or she might be a perp. Because just because you call yourself a Christian don't mean you're exempt from participating in gang stalking. Or she might be, I don't know. But I felt hurt by that. But it's like the main people that claim to be Christian, they be the first to block me. And then it's like, well, y'all claim to be spreading the love of Jesus Christ, but y'all do Satan's hatred work. So, yeah, I got a little bit of online harassment today. But in person, yeah, I had to hear the loud, even later on in the day, I had to hear the loud blasting music. So, but people worked harder yesterday than today at trying to ruin my day and hurt me. So I hate to say that. Well, I guess I had a little bit better of a day today, but yesterday they wanted to make sure it was a disaster. So, after the video that I did this afternoon, let's see, what did I eat for lunch? Oh yeah, I had the boniato sweet potato and what was it? And some of those Jimmy Dean sausages. They have 4 that come in a small pack in the Dollar Tree section of the Family Dollar Tree. But I know people would think it's, cheap and affordable, but I know it ain't healthy. So, I still got a little bit, like maybe 2 or 3 servings left of the mixed exotic animal meat, the ground meat. And I still got some more black eyed peas left in the freezer. But I got some trout fish, rainbow trout, I think it is. And, I don't know if I can thaw it out and then just slice the fish small. It's already cut and everything and filet, but if I make it small enough to be able to fit in the toaster oven, because I'm trying to figure out, well, I've never made fish in a crock pot before. So if I can cut up the fish to be small enough to fit in the toaster oven, because it seemed kind of long. Excuse me. So, and then I think I ended up dozing off and taking maybe about a 30-minute nap, somewhere between 6:30 and 7 o'clock or something. I don't remember exactly what time it was. And then after that, I for dinner, all I had was pomegranate and farina with honey. Well, I drizzled some honey on the Jimmy Dean sausage for lunch, but the pomegranate, a little bit of juice splashed all over, and I had to clean up the juice that sprayed all over the place, including my shirt and the walls and everything, and on my cup. And so I took out the trash. So I think they have a few people who, I don't know who it is, got hateful and blocked me on Twitter as well. It's like, why y'all blocking me? I don't even harass or bother nobody. But I call out the gang stalkers. But yeah, for people to call you negative, that is another tactic to try to discredit and shame you and gaslight you by calling you negative or saying you're full of negativity and drama as a way to make you feel extra bad. So I like the real targeted individuals that say keep exposing the gang stalkers. I love y'all. I like y'all. I like when you give the encouragement to keep exposing them. But then, they got, I really hate the fake shut up and ignore cult. And the main ones who be saying shut up and ignore are the ones who spread the lies saying that I'm a fake TI. They lie and say that I get paid to make the TI community look crazy. So I would rather be independent. I really wish I could. But I heard that they force you to be dependent and needy on purpose so that they can have more control over you. Excuse me. Because, you know, if you own your own house, you got more freedom than renting an apartment. If you work your own job and you don't have any organizations or anybody to answer to on how you spend your money. You can spend your money on liberally whatever you want if you work in your own job. And that's the beauty of reaping the fruits of your own labor. But when you're forced to depend on the government and you get Section 8, you gotta, and it's other people's property, the landlord or whatever. They control how long you're allowed to let somebody stay with you. We usually be 2 weeks. Or if you want somebody out, you can't kick them out so easily. Or they got a lot of rules you gotta follow. But if you own your own house, if you're a homeowner, somebody could stay with you for as long as you allow. And you don't have to worry about a lease or anything like that. But some people say that owning a home is more of a headache than renting an apartment. But I don't know, to each one's own. So when you have your own car to drive, there's no limit. If you got enough money for gas, insurance, and upkeep, whatever, there's no limit really on where you can go drive to. But if you're taking public transportation, yeah, you can only ride at certain times of the day, or you can't get somewhere as fast as you want. If you stay in a homeless shelter, it's like living in total prison, and you got curfews. The shelters even try to control your money, take all your money, and they want to, like, when you're staying in a homeless shelter, they even try to control your life outside of the shelter. Even try to control how you are on the job and everything. A lot of homeless shelters they set up rules on purpose so that they'll try to penalize and punish you for becoming independent and trying to get a job and work. So if you try to get a job and you're staying in a homeless shelter, it seems like it won't even work. But a lot of shelters are full anyway. And people don't believe us when we say that the shelters are full, even in the winter. There's a certain capacity, even with those winter cold weather shelters. Yep. Not enough room. You can try to get there 3 hours early. And guess what the shelter people would do? If you try to go 3 hours early to the shelter trying to be the first one, they'll turn you away and make you come back. And up until 15 minutes before the shelter opens. And then by the time you get there, there'll be a whole long line ahead of you. So, and then there's a chance you can't get in. And then if you do get in, if you're targeted, they will crowd around you and mob and bully you out of the shelter. The same way like workplace mobbing. But it seems like homeless shelters get rid of you faster than when you have a job and employed and dealing with the workplace mobbing. The workplace bullying. So, I guess tomorrow, what I'll do is try to cook, if they're still good, try to cook the rest of the Brussels sprouts and parsnips in the crock pot. And I guess it would have to be done. I guess it would have to be done separately from me trying to cook rice in the crock pot. So while the online gang stalkers want to try to shame me for trying to cook pasta in the crock pot, I don't have a burner or a stove. So the crock pot is the only thing I can cook the pasta in. So I found a formula of how to cook rice in the crock pot, but still can't get it perfect with the pasta. And then if my pasta come out bad, me dealing with the severe sleep deprivation and everything, and they don't care about that. They'll feel like my sleep deprivation is no excuse, or they'll mock and laugh or make it like as if the directed energy attacks or the sleep deprivation, that it's my own fault. So I eventually got some sleep, but not the full 8 hours. But now you see people running around talking about how successful people don't need, or that they don't get 8 full hours of sleep. So and I don't know why people falsely equate being financially rich. They falsely equate that with biblical holiness. And they'll use that scripture, love not sleep lest thou come to poverty. That's for people who might sleep all day. But I don't know how long it's been, but a lot of people say that the standard is 8 hours a day for sleep. But they said that younger people supposedly require 10 or even 12 hours of sleep per day, like kids. But I guess that's why when kids get older, their bedtime is usually later. Like if you're a little kid, like first grader, their parents put the child to bed at 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. And then by the time you're in 6th grade, you can go to bed at 10 o'clock at night. But then if you're in high school, you end up being allowed to go to bed at 11 o'clock or midnight. And then if you're in college, you'll be up 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning studying for hard-ass exams and everything. So, the sleep deprivation that I've been feeling, I don't remember feeling like this years ago. Because, I guess what they call going to college, they call pulling all-nighter. And then you have a hard time trying to stay awake. And then you got a heavy biology exam the next day. If you're studying, oh man, history is brutal torture. If they don't even really teach you, force you to take American history, but they'll force you to take European Western civilization, and then have you to have 4 or 5 textbooks to read throughout every single day. And it seemed like math and history and science will take up all your time. The fact that you gotta be forced to idolize and worship your college textbooks. Just nothing but studying. And then still be set up to fail. But, due to my 2 strokes when I was that I had, and then, the disability that was forced upon me to have, due to the trauma and abuse and anxiety disorders, like OCD and depression and all that. and Tourette's and all that, generalized anxiety disorder, my mind can't be as swift or sharp. And then being forced to take psychiatric medications and be bowed down with the medicines, you know, it was, excuse me, really bad. So, I mean, I've been in predicaments like with the homeless predicament, and also dealing with the fake mental health and stuff. It seemed like I've talked before about how they would try to prevent me from working or wouldn't let me have a job. But I mean, I don't know what would have happened if I would have been able to land a job opportunity in a city like New York City. I mean, they had so many abusive, narcissistic, or psychopathic gang stalkers in New York that, you know, tried to kill me or that they wanted to kill me. But Los Angeles is kind of not as bad as New York. But Miami seems pretty scary, and I've never been to Chicago. But I heard I'm from New Orleans. I never been to St. Louis, Missouri either. But I heard people say that St. Louis, Missouri, at one point was a murder capital. But before I left Los Angeles, people were saying that the gangs were getting more dangerous and getting bigger. So it seemed like I left just in time because, you know, the Bloods and the Crips. Yeah, they had this guy that kept bullying and harassing me because he was trying to make sexual advances at me, and I not long ago had dealt with being raped and stuff. And so I didn't want to be with nobody around that time. So this gangbanger, you know, every time he see me, he would aggressively bully me. But they would have moments where I would be abused and bullied, physically abused and beat on and bullied by gang members, Bloods and Crips, unprovoked for no reason in Los Angeles. If I'm quiet, minding my business on a train and or on the bus. Like one time I took the Vermont bus. It was the Route 754. And they had this guy rough-handled and abused me. And then he said, I'm a Crip, I don't give a fuck. You know. So, yeah. So I was wondering, why would I get bullied by random gang members? So people in the so-called TI community, if they say that gang stalking is a misnomer or something, or they'll say it's a fake name that the Freemasons created to discredit the community policing program, because, you know, like when Starbricker would call up hotels and motels and show them my videos of me and jobs like Sky Zone, you know, they would confront me and say, they would confront me about doing videos about gangbangers. And I'm like, I'm not talking about gangbangers. You know what I'm talking about, because y'all purpose your damn selves. So you know damn well I ain't talking about no gangbangers. I'm talking about gang stalkers. Group stalkers, organized group stalking, gang stalking, you know. So, but people say that gang stalking is the community-oriented policing. But people compare police officers. People say that the police force is the biggest gang there is out there. That they're the top most ruthless thugs. But to me, they're punks. So, you know, if they be ruthless thugs and considered the biggest corporate gang, so, you know, real gangs like the Bloods and the Crips and whatever other gangs, Piru gang, or is it Piru gang, or whatever gangs, you know, they try to form gangs in New Orleans, and, you know, it only lasted for a short time, but like back in the 90s, they try to form gangs in New Orleans. Even after Hurricane Katrina, they try to have some gangs, but, you know, New Orleans supposedly had their own hood culture where they feel like gangs aren't needed. But they're separated by wards, but, you know, the 5th ward, the 9th ward, you know, or something like that, or the 17th ward, Holly Grove. But I'm not even sure about, you know, if they will fight against neighborhoods and wards or whatever. But yeah, crime would be very bad in New Orleans. Still is. And they say the crime is out of control. But y'all would rather criminalize innocent people. You know, so yeah, certain people say that the term gang stalking is a term that the Freemasons, and they're like, I don't even use the word gang stalking no more because that's a term that the Freemasons came up with. Or the Freemasons came up with targeted individuals to keep you isolated. So, but that's how, if we use buzzwords, gang stalking and targeted individuals, that's how TIs recognize each other. You know, but some of them, only the fakes be calling themselves chosen ones, or God's chosen elect, or part of the 144,000. The popular fakes are the ones who pretend to be control opposition against the Masons, but they secretly doing the perp shit. And they're the ones saying that don't use gang stalking and targeted individuals no more. Or don't use those terms anymore. But they secretly working for them. You know. So, like right now, I can already feel that tomorrow I'm not going to want to go anywhere. But my phone was telling me that it got up to 101 degrees today. I'm not sure if I've ever lived in an environment that's over 100 degrees, but in Denton, Texas, I don't remember, or I don't know how hot it would be, but you only get 3 months of real heat, because we would still be wearing hoodies in June, but by the time after June 15th, you start to be warm enough that you can wear shorts. But September, back to wearing hoodies and pants. But Los Angeles is backwards enough that you be wearing hoodies in July and going to the beach, and in January and February it'd be hot, but you'd be wearing hoodies and coats and jackets in July in Los Angeles. It's weird. But I got accustomed and used to New Orleans and Pensacola weather. I mean, I grew up with New Orleans weather, but Pensacola is somewhat different. But I think they said that New Orleans it would get a little bit hotter than Pensacola. But when I first came here this year, um, April, and it's South Texas, and I think it's further south than New Orleans. And it was weird that it would be April and May, and I would still feel cold. But when June came, it seemed like there wasn't even really any transition. It just straight up got hot. But I love it when the weather is warm enough that the coconut oil can be melted. But me keeping the AC on 62, the air conditioner on 62 degrees, the coconut oil will stay solid. Oh, wait, hold up. So, I don't know why I've been seeing a few roaches lately. Dang. And this thing is stubborn. So, yeah, that didn't look exactly. I don't know if that was a fly or a roach. It looks weird. Okay, now it's finally trying to die. Yeah, I couldn't tell what that was. But, yeah, it finally died. But I saw a big ant earlier. Or was it yesterday? It was a big, huge ant. So, I found out that Dawn dishwasher liquid would, excuse me. I heard that Dawn dishwasher liquid would, I heard that Dawn dishwasher liquid keeps pests away. And I'm wondering if that could be, wow, me using Dawn dishwashing liquid, is that the reason why I don't really see that many gnats? I don't really see gnats anymore. But one time about a week ago or a few days ago, I saw one gnat. But yeah, I haven't been seeing gnats as much. But I know that Dawn is bad because of sodium lauryl sulfate and probably sodium lauryl sulfate. But it seemed like it's one of the only things that keep the drains running, that keep the drains, also the vinegar would do too, or baking soda and vinegar do too. So the online perps like Starbricker shunned me for talking about that. A lot of my health and beauty recipes call for baking soda and vinegar, and trying to say, oh, it turns into a salt or something like that. But I've been using baking soda and apple cider vinegar in my baths for years. For almost a decade or somewhere around there. But and the online perks have an issue with me using coconut oil or even talking about it. I guess they must have get that from my twin sister, because when I try to tell my twin sister about the healing effects of coconut oil, she would shun me and be abusive towards me for no reason. And then she tried to say, all you talk about is Illuminati and coconut oil. Trying to say all that I do is, she tried to say all that I do, all I talk about is Illuminati and coconut oil. But then eventually she started incorporating and using it in her diet. And it's like, I mean, it's like she's not the only sibling that would do this to me, like be abusive and mean and refuse to talk about a certain topic with me just for no reason. But then she's okay with discussing that topic with with strangers and other people. But the fake foster family conditioned her to think that she's better than me, or that she has more common sense, or that she's superior. And all that, like elevating my twin sister to be looked at as better than me, that didn't start, that didn't start until dealing with the gang stalking. Mama still use the terms gang stalking and targeted individuals. Because that's how the TI community or certain other TIs could connect. Or they'll say gang stalking is an outdated term. But they had this white lady that professed to be Christian on TikTok. And she would do videos saying that gang stalking is an outdated term or whatever. And she would profess to be Christian, but be throwing up devil horns and 666 and other satanic hand signs. And then recently, I don't know if she blocked me or deleted her account totally. But all I know is for the past week or two, I haven't been seeing her on TikTok, but she did make some announcement saying that if you get blocked or if she unfollows you, then don't take it personal, because she's trying to make like she's going in a different direction. So this lady sold out. She ended up selling out. And so now I guess the gang stalking network was able to make her quiet, because she would sit in her car and talk about how people would poison her home with some kind of dust. Excuse me. And they said that she would she said that that they use some kind of foam or dust, or that they were attacking her ceiling and her walls and attic and creating this dust that was making her and her kids sick or something. Like, I don't remember exactly what she would talk about, but yeah, this person, she when she got a new direction in life, where she just made a decision to quit talking about targeted individuals and gang stalking. And I don't know if she deleted her account. I don't know if she deleted her account or if she blocked me or blocked a lot of people. But she said she really didn't want to be talking about gang stalking anymore. But, if people tell you not to focus on the gang stalking, they tell you not to focus on it. But it's like, if you try to not focus on it, but if you try to live your life and ignore them, they want to give you constant reminders that they're there. They want to give you constant reminders that they're there. So, they had a perp. I put it in this community post that an anonymous perp that made up a fake brand new account and said, "I run you." And then made a fake harassing comments talking about, "I reported your account for bullying." Somebody on YouTube did this. Trying to say, I reported your account for bullying. And I'm like, for what? I don't even bully anybody. But on TikTok, you cannot call out harassment. They feel like you calling out people that's harassing you, they'll make it like as if it's counter harassment and doxing for exposing their harassment and abuse. But it's just not fair what the gang stalkers can get away with. The crimes and scams and fraud that the gang stalkers can get away with. So, I noticed that the video that I did in the middle of the night last night, the gang stalking network fraudulently and illegally gave me at least 9 thumbs down, probably more by now. But only one person loved me enough to give me a thumbs up on that video. Like, they wanted to give me that constant reminder that what I say is wrong, or that I'm wrong. But my point is, if the gang stalking network can wish death on me every day, but I'm wrong for posting up a Freemason's obituary to show the Masonic affiliation. So they made sure that they wanted to make it like I'm morally wrong. But you defend and agree with sex traffickers. Y'all okay with that? So, I saw certain Christian stuff online earlier today that made me not feel Christian enough, or not make me feel, it made me feel not Christian enough, or it made me feel like that reminder that I'm far from holy. But it seems like the gang stalking, that they provoke and harass you to manipulate you to, respond in a way that's not holy. And as I said, it's harder to have better self-control when you sleep deprived. It makes all your senses to be hypersensitive. And then when I would be sleep deprived, I would be, more susceptible to choking on food and stuff when I'm sleep deprived. So yeah. Wait, what time is it? Okay. Yeah, it's still kind of early. Well, not late. It's not early, but it's 11:37 p.m. here. So usually I would do videos anywhere between 10:30 p.m. and 12:30 a.m. But if I try to do a video at 9:30 all the way until 11 o'clock, and then if I try to go to bed, first of all, I can't even sleep. So I've been having a bad sleep schedule to end up going to bed or falling asleep anywhere between 4 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning. I hate that. So, and then the gang stalkers, what they would do is, excuse me, the gang stalkers, what they would do is, they wait till I'm asleep, or wait till I'm going to bed, or wait until late at night to make the harassing comments on YouTube, or living here, I have to hear the noise harassment outside. So at 4:30 in the morning, to deal with music blasting so loud that they want it to be more powerful than the most violent thunderstorm on an early Sunday morning. So it's like the gang stalkers, they act like, if I have their accounts blocked, and they act like they think they got the authority to make rules for me. That's narcissistic. But the flying monkeys be more vicious and brutal than the chief narcissist. I mean, you sit there and proud to gang stalk your own twin sister and keep your own twin sister isolated. You don't care if your own twin sister dies, but I'm the one who's so evil and hateful. But yeah, my twin sister would rather be loyal and committed to the cult, the gang stalking cult network. But I mean, I'm sitting here thinking if we were never put in foster care, I'm pretty sure that things would be different. Things would be different. I don't even think she would have went into the military if if it weren't for foster care. But you don't have to be in foster care to end up to be a targeted individual. But if she knows what it's like to not be accepted or to be rejected, but she still thinks she's better than me. It's like my own twin sister, she can never be trusted. She can never be trusted. And it's like, due to the gang stalking and her narcissistic abuse that she's committed to, it seems like I can never reconcile with her. It's a nightmare. It's really a nightmare. So it looks like as if I have to suffer a birthday in solitude this year, like next month. Because she made a big fake show and twisted and manipulated and lied on me and said that I was ungrateful for the $40 that she gave me. Because I said I wasn't even sure if she'd been perping and abusing me. I said I wasn't even sure if it was genuine or if it was a manipulation tactic for show. And so then I didn't find, because I lost my phone, so I didn't find out until like a few days later that she lied on me and said that I was being ungrateful for the $40. She lied and said that I was ungrateful for the $40. And then had her cult followers have another reason to attack me even more. So I got my final confirmation that $40 was not genuine. But she has donated strangers way more money than me. And she would end up being copy off the foster mom with being cheap. You know, cheap and stingy. That's a trait she got from the foster mom. Because the foster mom, when we were in foster care, the foster mom would have that nice ass BMW. And most of the time, the foster mom would blow homeless men. She would blow them off. But then, whenever she felt in a certain mood, she would narcissistically and self-righteously give them only $1. And those homeless men back in the 80s and 90s, they probably could have been homeless because they're targeted. Who knows? But you always falsely assume that homeless people are mentally ill drug addicts. But, you know, a lot of people are homeless because they don't like being controlled and they don't want to be slaves to the system. And a lot of people are forced into homelessness, but they have some people who are willfully homeless by choice and feel like they just want to have a new age fake free spirit, but they be rich with a lot of money, and you know, they think if they feel like they want to live the hippie lifestyle, you know, But I mean, if you're targeted, a lot of times you don't be homeless by choice. But if you might feel like you're forced to live with family members because you don't have enough money to be independent, so you're forced to live with family members, and your family, you get sick and tired of the family member abuse so much that you feel like you had enough, and then you pack your stuff and leave, and then you got no choice but to face the streets, or if you be mobbed and bullied out of the shelters, and then have to be forced onto the streets. As I said, dealing with the homeless life, I couldn't even deal with standing in soup kitchen line. Even in Greenville, South Carolina, after I got off the streets, they gave you only $15 with food stamps. So the Salvation Army would give a lot of food away, and so I didn't have to worry much about much about starvation or going hungry. And then the fake Salvation Army, you didn't have to be homeless in order to get free food, a free meal to eat. But I would be trying, because I didn't know, that was part of the gang stalking. But because of the gang stalking, I stayed away. And then plus they didn't care. They left the tables to be very dirty, like dirty tables and dirty people, and like caked on food, caked on dirty food on the dirty tables and everything, and dirty people and stuff like that. And sometimes they will have fake Masonic organizations and the Order of the Eastern Star serving food. Now, if you be homeless and poor, and the only church in town that there is available to feed people, well, else you ain't gonna eat that day for Thanksgiving or something, and then they want to set up for the Order of the Eastern Star to come to the local Baptist church and feed people. The Order of the Eastern Star their symbolism is an upside down star, which is like the Baphomet. So I didn't even realize when people throw up the peace sign, is the Baphomet Illuminati symbolism. And people say that sign language is satanic. Like when you do the devil horns, it's like the I love you Satan hand sign. Not just I love you, but more like I love you Satan when you throw up the devil horns. That's the Baphomet hand sign too. When you another way of worshiping the devil. So when I was at the Calbi Ichiban place, they had this abusive narcissistic gang stalker that was a waitress or a server at that restaurant in Pensacola. And she kept on throwing up the devil horns. And I'm like, why do you keep throwing up the devil horns satanic hand sign at me? And so she's like, oh, that means I love you. You don't even know me. You're just random throughout the conversation asking me what I want and then throwing up satanic hand signs, and I called you out on it. Well, guess what? She quit the next day. She quit. She quit her job, and I called her a gang stalker to her face. She quit her job. So I did videos showing y'all demonstrations about the gang stalkers when I go to the restaurants, and they would throw satanic hand signs in my face, like as if they want me to see it. And I'm like, okay, I know you're part of the program. I know you're part of the program. But if I call you a gang stalker to your face, then I get wrongfully banned forever. from such and such a restaurant. Or if I show videos exposing your gang stalking tactics. So I heard that only Freemasons are allowed to run businesses and have businesses to be successful. No wonder why people like me are blocked from being allowed to be an entrepreneurial business owner. I would rather be like a solo business owner. I don't want no business partners. I'd rather be just all me. But that's the only way. Because I see some people who have a food truck and it be multiple people working. Or sometimes you might see only one person with the food truck. But one thing, if I see people operating a snowball truck or an ice cream truck and they sell snowballs, I think that part of my disability, I don't think that I can be skilled or talented with making snowballs. I can barely make a great, I'm not that good with making an ice cream cone. Like when you have self-serve ice cream or frozen yogurt, it's like I suck at making a neat ice cream cone because of the 2 strokes I had when I was 5 years old. So, yeah, that's certain things I just can't do. And a narcissistic, I talked about before, a narcissistic abuser, if they feel like my handwriting is not neat enough, they forcefully order me to go back and rewrite it, go back and redo it all over. They try to make or force me to go back and redo it all over again as a form of punishment and shame and ostracism. Or they feel like something is not neat enough for them. And I'm like, well, people like you is why I have OCD. So it's like, dang, I don't mean to tell TMI, but I don't know if down there, if that's a rash from, I don't know if it's a rash from the cheap laundry pods, the detergent not being rinsed out all the way. I don't know if it's that, or the I don't know if it was a rash from that, or if it's but it seemed like it doesn't hurt, but it kind of like itchy and burning and kind of irritating, but not actually hurting. But I tried to use the coconut oil to try to heal it and clear it up, and it seemed like it kind of worked a little bit. But I don't know if it would be wart. I hope it wouldn't be warts growing down there. But I'm sitting here feeling like I don't want to have to go to the doctor. I don't want to have to go to the doctor. I hope I can clear this up on my own. But everything's starting to seem hopeless. But yeah, I don't know if it would be warts there. I hope it not. But if it would be warts, but the warts here on my hands aren't itching or burning or anything, but whatever that is going on down there, I don't know if it might be irritation from the laundry detergent not being rinsed, the cheap dollar laundry detergent not being rinsed out out of my clothes all the way, and which resulted in messing up the texture of my hair. So yeah, but I didn't like. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of gotten me depressed. Me trying to figure out what's going on. But um, if the gang stalking network didn't make me homeless, I would not have had to ask for money or had to panhandle. And then Social Security and government assistance is like a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle. So it's like Social Security is used to keep you poor. It's not fair or right at all. But they got so much money to fund for real and fake wars. Like I heard that the war on Kosovo was fake. And I heard that people are brainwashed to go to war for an imaginary problem. But I don't know. But if Tupac said that we can fund the war but we can't feed the poor, but I've been hearing since 2011 about the government being in like so many trillions of dollars worth of debt. Well, if America's in debt to China, if America's in so much debt, why is Biden giving so much money to Ukraine and then making us suffer even more? And then I heard that they're deliberately putting things in place to collapse the American dollar so that they can have the uh, economic collapse and cashless society and the new world order. Fake, they want to, they want the great reset and usher in the new world order. And you hear about China and a social credit score system. Well, I guess I would be one of the top people who will fail the social credit score. But I heard that it would be best to work your own way and use cash rather than credit. And a lot of people say cash is king. But I heard the real silver and gold, the elite hoard the wealth at a special secret central bank in Switzerland. So you got demon possessed fake human beings controlling everything. And fake people living off of everything real. Because I heard that the government people, the Illuminati people, they eat real food. They're fake people eating real food. And here we're real people being forced to eat fake food and fight and kill over fake money. Competing and losing our lives behind not real silver and gold, but fake fiat currency, fake paper. So, yeah. But we're sitting here struggling to survive. So, yeah, I don't know. It seems like I'm kind of like running out of topics or running out of stuff to talk about. So it is now precisely midnight, 12 o'clock in the morning on, it is Monday, July 17th, 2023. So I finally got the soap on Amazon, from Amazon. They sent it to the P.O. box, but I need to figure out a way. Amazon said that they're going to send me a refund, but I need to try to figure out how to contact them because I got the soap and they sent it to me at my P.O. box rather than outside like they usually do. So they put it, yeah. So they were talking about sending me a refund, but I have to try to let them know that I got the soap. So but see, narcissistic abusers, if I wouldn't say anything, the gang stalking network would call me a scammer and a fraud. But for me to be honest and report that, then y'all would call me stupid, saying that you're stupid, you should have kept that money and you shouldn't have said nothing. So y'all got something to say no matter what I do. But look at me trying to do the right thing or trying to be honest. But y'all falsely assume that I'm just everything dishonest. But it seems like the gang stalking network been trying to give lots of thumbs down for nothing. You know. But it seems like, how come I can talk about, people will listen to and believe me. It's like I can talk about any and every Kraft family except Lanika. But every other Kraft family member, if they did me something dirty, I can talk about them. But she get to be so special to be off limits. Certain family members I can talk about, but certain family members I'm forbidden and not allowed to talk about. But I can be allowed to talk about the fake foster mom and Adrian Felder, but I can't talk about my own twin sister. But she can talk about me. But I can't talk about Mark and Ramona. And I can't talk about whore Rebecca. But yeah, I can talk about everybody else. I can talk about drunk lady Yvonne. I can talk about, Wyatt. I can talk about Pete. I can talk about, I guess Derek would be off limits too. But, I can talk about regular perps, but I'm talking about the fake TI perps is off limits. But I promise you, I'm not a paid TI and I'm not a fake one. If some people have told me that they see that I'm the realest or one of the most genuine ones out there. But the ones who hate me or have an issue with me because they're fake. It's like the fake TI perps, I'm forbidden and not allowed to mention any of them. I'm not allowed to talk about them. The gang stalking network act like they think they got the authority to control and police what I should talk about. I wish that if you had somebody's account blocked on YouTube, I wish it would be like TikTok or Twitter that you can't see their content if they have you blocked. I wish YouTube would fix that. But I heard that even if you deactivate thumbs up and thumbs down on YouTube, I saw that in your YouTube studio you can still see it. In YouTube studio you can still see it. But what if YouTube were to switch it up and just like on TikTok and Twitter they don't have thumbs down. So YouTube lied about taking away the thumbs down button. But, as I said, my twin sister slander about me gets more circulated on a YouTube hashtag gang stalking than my own videos. And I got nearly 7,000 videos on this channel by itself. And I got lots of thousands of videos on my other couple of channels too. And I had on my first PsychWorld channel, how many? I think it was close to 1,000 videos. So at first, on the first PsychWorld channel, I was talking about the fall, like back in 2019, it was late March or early April 2019. I don't remember if it was March 20th or April 1st that I started doing YouTube videos. And I was talking about the foster mom and narcissistic abuse. And then I was researching a lot of narcissistic abuse. And then that got me back on topic of learning about, again, gang stalking. Like, if you research narcissistic abuse, it will lead you down the so-called rabbit hole of the topic of gang stalking. And if you research the Illuminati and New World Order, you will stumble upon topics of gang stalking and narcissistic abuse. So, so you will end up, going down that lane of those topics. So, because, like, as I said, in 2015 was when my body started to vibrate. But I think I first heard of targeted individuals and gang stalking. The earliest possible could have been 2011, but definitely 2012. Definitely 2012. So I think at least September, late August, early September 2011, I think that could have been the earliest I've heard about targeted individuals and gang stalking on Twitter. And then after that, and it's like a lot of people who were on my Twitter timeline would talk about they would talk about targeted individuals and gang stalking. But they were all huddled, treat me like how the TI community does now. But I wouldn't hear about them I don't remember hearing about them calling themselves chosen ones, but a lot of people who claim to be targeted individuals were suffering gang stalking back in 2011 and 12. But back then, nobody ever called me a gang stalker or nobody ever called me a perp. But they were all huddled together and unfollow and block me. But they would claim to be targeted individuals. But they would they would spread so much new age and 1111 and call themselves indigo children and stuff like that. So I might have been following a bunch of counterfeit fake TIs. But those people don't seem like they're on Twitter now. So, I didn't even realize that when I researched the Illuminati and New World Order, starting in 2010, then in 2011, and I was having nightmares, and then 2011, I was doing deep and heavy research. It was the end of November 2010 when I found out IDMR really is a cult. And so that led me down more research of Illuminati and New World Order and Big Pharma. I started learning stuff. I didn't have a life living in Denton, Texas. It was like living here, have nowhere to go, sitting up in the house all day long. But I had my physical laptop, and I don't think I had a smartphone then. So then, 2011, 2012 on Twitter, they were, I think throughout my Illuminati research, I would come across gang stalking, targeted individuals. Even in MK Ultra research, I would stumble upon electronic harassment and Patsy and I forgot what's the other term for when they have the mass shooters. Some people might call them a Patsy, and there's another term that they use. But I heard that there's trauma-based mind control and electronic-based mind control. I heard that more the MK Ultra trauma-based is more the MK Ultra, the celebrities, the beta kitten sex slaves. But then the electronic base is when you see people like Myron May and Aaron Alexis and Gavin Long and whoever else, or Simi Williams, people like them. If they be electronic torture, the electronic based MK Ultra mind control. So with the gang stalking and MK Ultra, it's trauma based and electronic based with the targeted individuals. And so Omega programming is self-destruct. And then they have suicide programming. And then celebrities promote and glorify suicide and stuff, like Rihanna's Russian roulette. And Nicki Minaj glorifying bipolarism and stuff. So I thought about doing a blog post about the celebrities and they're bragging about multiple personalities and stuff like that. The MK Ultra and the multiple personalities. So if they have any professed targeted individuals who say that they MK Ultra victims, well, multiple personalities might be the reason if they might act like both a targeted individual and a perp. But not all targets, but some. If they might try to claim that they're MK Ultra, and then if they got multiple personalities, well, that might explain why you might be like a perp one moment. But a lot of professed targeted individuals who claim, not all of them, but a lot of them, who claim that they get voice to skull V2K, they are the main ones who try to act like a perp or do weird perp stuff, or they talk nonsense. They just start talking gibberish. So yeah. In 2011, 2012, I think 2012 or 2013, I got rid of that Twitter. And then after the biological parents died, I called myself trying to focus more on Christian living and Christian lifestyle, and researching a lot on Christian stuff in the Bible, and natural health and survival and stuff like that. And then in late 2014, I had an incident. It was October 2014 all the way through like February 2015. I had a bad vertigo for months. But it wasn't as bad as what I experienced back in late May, early in June. So I'm glad to be back to normal again. That was traumatic for me when I experienced last month and the month before with the bad vertigo and the nausea and stuff. But after I ate at late 4 or 5 o'clock this morning, I think I woke up sometime in the morning later on with a bad reflux reaction and almost vomited up a whole bunch of food. But I mean, I tried to not let myself vomit, and I just swallowed it back, and then I went back to sleep. But I know it was from that Dairy Queen, that food, that did that, because I haven't been having like reflux that bad. But that's my fault. That's on me. That is nothing but me, my fault. So then, but if it weren't for that perp that blasted loud music, I wouldn't have ate that. I mean, I would not ate that during that time. But if I would have ate just the cereal and not that fried chicken sandwich, then, I probably wouldn't have had the reflux reaction. I mean, ate the granola cereal. So the fact that it's now the 17th, I don't know what I'll eat. Because I just got very, very little bit of, not even enough for a half a serving of, not even enough for a half a serving of, help. Can't think of the granola cereal. So with the boniato potato, I hope it would come out to taste good. I don't know if I'll do it for breakfast or a snack. If I make if I use up the last of the pie crust shells, it seemed like it kind of thawed out pretty quickly. If I use the pie crust shells, and I was gonna try to make like empanada, trying to make an empanada with the pie crust shells, and mix the boniato, try to mix the boniato potato and some of the honey peanut butter, try to mix it together and put it inside of empanada and wonder if that would taste good. But if not, then just the plain peanut butter by itself inside the pie, inside the pie crust for the miniature pie crust shells. But I mean, I don't know. It might come out to taste good. It might come out to taste good. It might be nasty. But I guess it wouldn't hurt to try. It wouldn't hurt to try. So, I mean, that is so good. I would love to have some of that again. The boniato, sweet potato. Never heard of that before, but I like it. So far, I have not really found a sweet potato variety that I have not liked. But I haven't tried a whole bunch of them, but But I'm wondering if that was called boniato in Los Angeles because they had like a certain sweet potato with red skin, and then the flesh, the inside was like a greenish yellow. I mean, a greenish yellowish white. But that's what it seems similar to. But the ones that I had in Los Angeles at the farmers market, they were bigger. But regular orange sweet potatoes and yams and purple sweet potatoes and purple yams, I love it. But I hate when a sweet potato or yam is not that sweet. But I love it when it's sweet. Like I love when you have like sweet cantaloupe or sweet honeydew melon, but I hate it when it's not sweet. You know. See, hold up. Okay. I just got a supportive comment. The moment I saw that YouTube notification, I started to get nervous. So, yeah, I don't know if I'll make empanadas. I don't know if I'll make empanadas or if I'll make well, what to do. If I don't make the empanadas, what if I just have some farina, cheesy eggs, and farina, cheesy eggs, and the last of the Jimmy Dean sausage, and another pomegranate. I don't know. And then if I have some fish, rice, and those beans. The beans got some vegetables in it. Or if I can have fish, rice, beans, and the mix, I mean the Brussels sprouts and parsnips. So, I still got some more black eyed peas, and I have not touched the lima beans yet. I don't know. As I said, I'm just doing like a daily diary of survival and self-care due to the targeting, whether I'm homeless or not, since they're trying to kill us. So, they even make mockery and make jokes about hints at the death of a targeted individual. And that gets applauded. It doesn't get shunned. Nobody says that the gang stalkers are wrong. They always point out why the targeted individual is cruel, cold, and fucked up. When you retaliate and stand up for yourself against their initial harassment that they start first. So, I don't even know how many days worth of toilet paper I have left. But I already feel like I just don't feel like and the idea, it's too hot. And plus I don't want to deal with the gang stalking. This Saturday I forgot about I forgot all about the free snowballs that they give away. Free snow cones or something. I forgot about that. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, this week I'm gonna have to get me some toilet paper, paper towels, and some other items. I'm gonna need some more trash bags and stuff like that, So, yeah, but as I said, I'm just letting y'all know how I'm surviving. and then y'all just take it out of context and make it like I'm just greedy and obsessed with food and just like to talk about food. You know, so if the gang stalkers get mad and copy off my twin sister and yell at me and say, well, all you like to talk about is gang stalking and food, and all you do is stuff your face with food and you need to be fasting, or they want me to starve myself. But nobody said that the gang stalkers are wrong for saying that that they want me to be put down like a rabid dog, that they can't wait. And they want to make sure that Bloomington, Texas will hate me, just like they wanted, even the online perps wanted me out of Pensacola, and they wanted to make sure that the entire city of Pensacola would have hate me and run me out. But I'm like, I told you, I would still do the same thing no matter what city and state I'm in. Y'all thought that me being wrongfully, kicked out of Pensacola would change, my character. But they think that me battling gang stalkers and suffering and struggling, they think that's hilarious. They're sadistic enough that they think that's hilarious. That my suffering is hilarious to them. But I would hate to just mope around all day, every day, and be upset about the Social Security thing. So, I want to be able to continue to move on with my life and try to write more short stories and ebooks and stuff like that, But that lady was a bully and full of shit trying to tell me that she think that I'm not allowed to make money from my ebooks. That I'm not supposed to. She's not supposed to tell me something like that. You don't have a right to control somebody's hobby. But you know what? The fake ticket to work lady, Stacey Morgan, that was an abusive, narcissistic perp that played all kinds of psychological games. She was Masonic and living a high life. She even admitted to me that she's a high income. So Stacey Morgan in New Orleans, that was part of the fake America Works Ticket to Work program on Poydras Street. She was an abusive, narcissistic gang stalker, a fellow Creole black lady that wanted to keep me down. And then when I reported her to the New York America Works, she gaslit and she lied on me and gaslit me and denied her abuse tool and manipulation and psych games. And then she tried to say, well, you use choice words. I'm like, yeah, I use choice words as, the narcissistic abuse from you and my reactive abuse. That was the choice words, the reactive abuse. Because I freaking had enough. And I've been freaking sleep deprived. And she would sit there and mock and laugh at my suffering. And then telling me that nobody's going to hire me. And she would brag about not hiring disabled people. And she brag about her master's degree and brag about how she would be a boss on certain jobs and brag about not hiring disabled people. Brag and laugh about it. My second time seeing her. She seemed perfectly nice and totally fine the first time I met her with that first meeting. But the second time and on forward, the lady wanted to see me fail. And she tried to restrict me from self-employment. How come Social Security can't help people with self-employment? What happened to that PASS program? But they wanted to keep your money and keep your benefits to save to the side. Well, how can you pay rent? Or how come people wouldn't even help us to get a business grant. A grant. Not small business loan, but like a grant or something. Excuse me. And then Stacey Morgan, what she would do, she was a perp too, because an abusive narcissistic gang stalker, because I have a bachelor's degree, and she would send me all these low-wage part-time jobs. And then a lot of the jobs that she would suggest would be funeral. Like, she didn't want me with a bus driving job, or she would say that's not a good fit for you, or any other driving related job. But the only driving job she wanted me to have was funeral, like a funeral chauffeur. Now, you fucked up. Of course I'm gonna cuss you out. If that's subliminal death references. And then she laughed and talked about there was a disabled man who laughed. A disabled man who cussed her out and got mad at her for the same thing. So she's a Masonic narcissistic sellout that thinks she's better and fraudulently and illegally living a high life. Admitted that she's high income. You sold your soul to the devil. That's why you high income, while you pretend to give fake Christian encouragement. But she would ignorantly laugh like Lanika and think everything is funny. And think your suffering is funny. But yeah, that's some perp shit to do, that the only driving job you will allow me to have is funeral chauffeur jobs. To make secret death references at me. You're a sick lady. So, she was definitely a damn perp. And so when you're dealing with Ticket to Work program or Voc Rehab and you're a target individual, they will make sure to keep you down. But, she didn't even want me to be a cab driver or a school bus driver or any other kind of driver. But the only driving job she wanted me to have was funeral chauffeur. But I'm so crazy. So thanks for listening to me, y'all. Y'all know the reason why I gotta go now. Storage space. So love y'all, and I'm not talking about I love you gang stalkers. Fuck y'all. But I love, my supporters. But it's very hard for me to try to practice, to love your enemies. But if you try to show love towards abusive narcissistic gang stalkers, they will lie and falsely turn it sexual and make it like you sexually want them or something. When it's not the case. When you try to show Christian godly love. So that's one weakness that I have that I need to work on is, trying to love. How can you, trying to love your enemies that hate you and want you dead and just want the worst for you. Bye, y'all.